All right, I want to talk about one more thing about chord theory for a minute. I know it's going to seem kind of technical, but I think it's something that you have to at least be exposed to, and you don't need to understand it right now. It's just something that you will internalize, and over a period of time, you'll kind of just internalize it, and you'll sort of know it. And what I mean by that is, what's a chord? A chord is basically a combination of notes, and if the chord is in the is let's say if it's a G major, then what it means is that it will have a major scale within it, but the chords that make up that C, that makes it sound like a C, are going to be the first, third, and the fifth interval of the scale, not the chromatic scale, but just the major scale. And here's what I mean. Let's look at this down here. For the C, if you remember do re mi fa sol la ti do, that's a major scale, and what it means is if you were to walk up from the C, do re mi fa sol la ti do, you'll see that goes C D E F G A B C. You may remember from my circle of fifths lesson I told you that C doesn't have any sharps or flats in it. All right, so what that means is that if you think about the C chord, let's do that back again. You go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then it'll repeat to C. You'll note that the first note is the root note. It's the root note. Second, third, and the fifth are the C and the E and the G, and I can't remember the actual technical musical terms. I think called it the diatonic or whatever, but I think of it as the third and the fifth, and so that's what makes this C chord sound like a C. So over here, I've shown that a C chord is a C, which is your root note, and an E and a G. And if you finger it, you know that that's what you're doing. You're doing a C. Okay, now I know this is the way you do it, but what's really happening is that you're playing the C and you're playing the E, and then you're playing this G, which is, whoops, I'm sorry, let's forget about that. You're playing this G over here that's open. So those are really the three adjacent strings are the notes that make up the chord. You can go ahead and strum out the whole thing, but here this C is just merely a duplicate of that. This E is just a duplicate of that, and this E is just a duplicate of that. So the only notes that are not common are going to be the C, E, and the G. And I haven't bothered to diagram because it'll just kind of make a messy diagram. But take my word for it that if you take the G, you're going to find the same thing. Now, on the G, you'll notice that this is your G chord. Your G chord looks like that, and it looks like that, and it looks like that. But the notes that matter are going to be these three, and you'll see that this G is just simply as a repeat. This B is just a repeat, and this on the E string, this is just a G is just a repeat. So that's usually what happens with every one of your cowboy chords. If you make them with three fingers, what you're doing is you're just making the three fingers are the is what's making your chord, and everything else is just kind of it's just a duplicate. Same thing with your E. So let's go over here to your E. You know how you make it? You make it like there, and you make it there. So you have an A flat, and then you have an E and a B. But I really think of the E first, and then you go to your A flat, and then your B. So it's really these other strings are just simply helping carry it. Same thing with your A. If you do your A, you're just covering these. So it's an A, it's a C sharp, it's an A and a C sharp, and there's an E. These other things are just simply duplicates. And then the same thing applies. Let's get rid of all of this. for your D. Your D is just a D, a G flat, and an A. So what's your D? Your D is that, and it is that, and it is that. So there's your D, there is your G flat, and there is your A. Now, some people put their pinky on over here and get this G flat, or they just leave it open for the D. So you're not really repeating that. And once again, there's the A is just simply a repeat. And this is the reason why you don't play the E. You really just you try to strum your D from there on, and don't emphasize that. You could get away with the A because the A is already in there, but then you're going to be throwing people off because of what is really the root note. So anyway, so that's a lesson on chords. I didn't bother going through the major scale of the A and the G and the D. Remember on the circle of fifths, I told you that they had flats and whatever. But if you took the same pattern as you did with the C, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you would find the same pattern would apply to all of the other chords, except you would just run into some flats. All right, so that's it on this.